Hello! So, if you haven't heard the news by now, I am pregnant. I am expecting a baby this fall. So, I thought I would do a first trimester recap video just to talk about my experience. And if you are pregnant or hope to be in the future, I hope this video gives you just some context. If you're in your first trimester and you're just going through it, hopefully this video gives you some hope and some things that worked and didn't work for me. And yeah, so let's get into it. So it is, what is today? June 10th, and I am actually 16 weeks today. So I am a couple weeks into my second trimester now, and I still can't believe I'm even saying that, but I thought it would be a good opportunity to go back and reflect on my first trimester while it's still fresh. I want to record a separate video about my pregnancy journey, just because this is not my first pregnancy, but this will be our first child. So I just have a lot to share in that department too, just about our journey of going through pregnancy loss and getting to this point, but I'm going to save that for a separate video. The reason why I say this is because I actually found out I was pregnant pretty early, just because I had experienced taking tests before and I had kind of picked up on some symptoms that my body was going through. So I actually found out that I was pregnant in mid-March, and I was about like 3.5 weeks pregnant at that point, which is very early. If you have been tracking your cycles or you've been trying to conceive, you know that basically the 3-week mark is before you've even missed your period. So I mean, my husband and I had been actively looking to grow our family, and I kind of was an obsessive tester. So I actually noticed that my nails had been growing longer and stronger and just faster than they typically would, and I was like, okay, maybe this is a sign, maybe I should take a test. So I ended up taking a test and I got a faint line, which is a faint positive, and they say, what do they say? It's like possible to get a false negative but not a false positive. I think that's how it goes. So anyways, the following days I took multiple other tests until I got 2 solid pink lines, clear blue, digital, you know, says straight up pregnant, and so I was super excited about that. So some of my other first symptoms, and I have my phone here, I'm just gonna kind of read through my pregnancy journal and my notes that I took throughout this process. So week 3, I was already starting to get out of breath and my back was sore already, and I just found myself like falling asleep. So some of that early fatigue and soreness and breathlessness were some of my first symptoms. And I just found myself wanting to just sleep. So that was the first week that I knew I was pregnant, and those were my symptoms. Then I called my doctor and went in to have my beta HCG drawn to just, you know, confirm the pregnancy and to make sure that my levels were rising, which means the pregnancy was developing as hoped. So all clear there and everything was good. The next week I just started feeling more emotional. By week 5, so this was at the end of March, I started having nausea. So I could not go into our kitchen. I could not see any dirty dishes in the sink. It would make me gag. Opening our fridge would make me gag. It was just really bad. I also was just exhausted and super bloated too, which unfortunately did not go away for a while. So pretty early on into this pregnancy, I would say I experienced nausea because, you know, some people don't even find out they're pregnant at 5 weeks. I would say most women probably don't find out until, you know, you've missed your period. So around the 4 or 5, sometimes even 6 or 7 week mark, if your cycle is longer, if you have irregular cycles and you're not necessarily trying or tracking, you may not know that you're pregnant that early, but I was already having nausea and pregnancy symptoms. So I already just wanted to be in comfy clothes, and this was just a couple weeks after finding out I was pregnant. Okay, so then the 6th week, I actually had to get on a plane. I had to travel for my job, and keep in mind, I was already feeling nauseous. So I was just at that point just praying that I could make it through the trip, which I did, and it went really well, so I'm super grateful for that. We also had our first ultrasound when I got back from that trip, and we saw our baby and heard their heartbeat, which was just so special. I'm pretty sure like I shed some tears in the ultrasound room because that was the first time we've ever heard a heartbeat during pregnancy, and it was just so special. Let's see, so that was 6 weeks. 7 weeks, I started having insatiable hunger, and I do think this was partially because I was taking progesterone. So I'll get into all of the medications I was taking and everything, probably in the pregnancy journey video because I can give additional context. But yeah, I was taking progesterone and I was hungry all the time. I was also nauseous, so snacking all the time was basically how I survived. Yeah. I hadn't really vomited much. It was mainly just like that sound when you're just like about to. That, I don't know how else to describe it, but that's basically what I went through, and it was not fun. I also noticed that sometimes if I blew my nose too hard, I would have like a little blood. And yeah, that's another symptom I had. I know congestion can be another pregnancy symptom. So let me see what else. We were just super excited to see our baby. Around 8 weeks or so, I was still nauseous. I could basically only eat carbs. I had total meat aversions. I did not want to eat chicken, beef, even turkey. I basically just wanted bread and cheese. Had a lot of Postmates, pizza, and bagels and cream cheese. And I was just basically in survival mode at that point. Yeah, still took my prenatals, but that was basically all I could stomach. And it was really hard for me because I had gone from cooking meals every week and taking all of these like health supplements to not being able to even drink my morning tea in the morning. Like I could not eat the way I wanted to, and that was really frustrating. So if you are just experiencing food aversions or nausea, you're definitely not alone, and just give yourself grace because hopefully it will pass for you like it has for me. Let's see, body changes. I definitely noticed my boobs just grew a lot and got super huge. I'm pretty sure I went up like maybe a cup size and a half at this point. And I noticed that pretty early on, and that was interesting. I found my pants, it just was completely uncomfortable to even wear pants. Like for a while I could just pull them on and just leave them unbuttoned, but then after a while, like even that was just uncomfortable, and that happened pretty early on for me. And yeah, that was definitely an adjustment. So I had to get some more leggings and sweatpants. and just skirts and dresses and more comfortable clothes. Somewhere between 9 and 10 weeks, I actually had my doctor give me a prescription for anti-nausea medication, and I was prescribed Progesta, which is a combination of like Dramamine and vitamin B6, and it did help me a lot. I would say it helped me probably until around like 2 or 3 in the afternoon, and then I would start gagging again. If you're having nausea, like, don't do what I did and just, I don't know, just try to power through. If it's really affecting you, talk to your doctor about it, because I wish I had probably started taking that sooner instead of eating all the time or just suffering. Like, I literally just lived on the couch for 2-ish months, so I don't really recommend that. But I will say that I did try Preggy Pops, and at first I feel like they helped a little bit, but then after that, I don't know, I just didn't really feel like they were working for me. Yeah, after a while, like, even just seeing those started making me feel nauseous because I associated them with nausea. So yeah, Preggy Pops did not really do it for me. But that is something you can try if you're experiencing nausea and, you know, you want to try a couple other remedies before going to having to take medication. Around 10 weeks, I actually threw up. I think that was the first time I threw up from nausea, and I did have some spotting throughout my first trimester, and my doctor did an ultrasound and we found a small subchorionic hematoma, which is essentially like a blood pooling in my uterus, and it was not good. Luckily it was small, and last time we checked it was stable, but it was definitely alarming seeing blood when you're pregnant, which is like the time you're not really supposed to see any blood. If that happens to you, definitely talk to your doctor, and just to make sure everything's okay. And because of that, I mean, first of all, I didn't really have the energy to work out because I was gagging a lot, but then after that, I had to go on pelvic rest for a few weeks, and so that was really tough because I went from working out multiple times a week, walking my dog every day, to basically just lying on the couch. And as somebody who just likes staying active, not just for the physical benefits, but also like for the mental and emotional benefits, yeah, that was really difficult. And I will say I'm just now starting to become more active again and have like a more regular appetite again. So yeah, if you're going through that, just try and stay positive and just focus on the fact that your body is growing your baby, and you know, you just have to kind of surrender to this experience. Let's see what else. Around 11 weeks, I started having tailbone pain. At least that's how I would describe it, where like I just felt pain kind of like at the bottom of my spine. And it wasn't intense at that point, so it was just something I noticed. I found some other pregnant women suggested getting like a donut pillow to sit on, so I'm actually sitting on it now because I am on the floor recording this video, and yeah, I just wanted some support. So if you're having pain, I would definitely recommend getting something like this to kind of help. But at my next OB appointment, I'm going to talk to my doctor about potentially seeing a physical therapist or a chiropractor, because this is kind of a preview into my second trimester update, but I ended up having some really intense pain to where like I could not walk without being in pain. So yeah, it ended up actually getting more intense. But in my first trimester, it was not that intense. So take what you will from that. Let's see, anything else? I don't know, like, oh, okay. So another thing that happened during my first trimester was we had the option to do the non-invasive prenatal testing, the NIPT test, and so we did that. It's basically a screening test, and it tests your blood for any chromosomal disorders that the baby may be experiencing. And so thankfully we got the results back from that, and our baby is low risk for anything, which we're so grateful for. But that test also tells you the gender. So we actually found out the gender of our baby right around the end of my first trimester, which was so special. And we recorded a little just like reaction video of us finding out, and yeah, so I will have to share that. So make sure you're subscribed and give this video a thumbs up if you want to see that video, because yeah, that was something really special that we got to do during our first trimester. And I know most people don't find out the gender until, you know, maybe their 20-week anatomy scan, or some people choose to go team green and just wait until birth to be surprised by the gender of the baby. But for us, especially just given our history, it made sense to do the test. And yeah, we wanted to find out, and yeah, we know the gender of our baby. Overall, I would say that my first trimester, it was a little bumpy. I wouldn't say it was especially difficult, because like I wasn't vomiting multiple times a day, but I was dry heaving and gagging multiple times a day. So I mean, that's like what, a step a step better than that. I don't really know. But I mean, overall, I was just super excited and grateful to be carrying and growing our child. And I will say that given my previous history with pregnancy loss, like I definitely went through a lot of anxiety and just some emotional ups and downs. I know every time we would go in for an appointment, because of my history, I did have more OB and ultrasound appointments than you might, or most women would. I just know like that wait between appointments, and just like praying that everything's still okay and the baby is still with us. Like it just makes you, you know, have to fully rely on God and just surrendering and prayer. Yeah, I would definitely say the theme of pregnancy, but especially in the first trimester, is just surrender. Like you don't really know exactly how your body is going to handle the pregnancy, and every pregnancy is different. So yeah, it's definitely a growth experience for sure. Not just physically, but also just mentally and emotionally and spiritually. But yeah, I'm in my second trimester now, and things are looking up. So I hope this video was helpful to you and encouraging, especially if you are in your first trimester going through it right now. There is light at the end of the tunnel. And if you want to see more videos like this, just give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!